So I was in the wilderness. There was nothing to write home about my career. And honestly speaking, my faith as well. I was crushed, but here I am today by the grace of God. So there is no formula to life. Do not compare yourself with anyone's timeline. Your time is coming. Grace and peace to you. My name is Priska, and I'm connecting from the Republic of Ireland. So I'm here to give my testimony in the area of my career, which was dormant and stagnant for so many years. My story goes like this. In 2016, I graduated with a degree, a Bachelor of Accounting Science. But from that moment on, a moment that was meant to be a start for my life, for my career, turned into a nightmare. All of my efforts by myself to apply in different companies, in different institutes, did not bear any fruit. So what I ended up doing at that time, I took up a job in a call center. As years went by, I tried to apply in different places, but it never worked out. So I stayed in retail for a while. I was in sales and customer service. And then in the year 2022, by the grace of God, I managed to relocate to Ireland. And I thought to myself, okay, this is a new environment. Let me give myself another chance and really trust and believe that God has put me in this land to change my life. So what I did is I went back to school to study again. Another qualification for self-development and to improve myself still in the field of accountancy. So that qualification, which I completed in the month of August in 2024. So again, all of my efforts to apply were met with disappointment. I tried everything that I could. Even I applied for jobs that were like less than what I was qualified for, but even in that, nothing came of it really. So people that were around me started to encourage me to just apply for anything, and what I'm looking for will meet me along the way. But after my graduation, I stayed for about 3 months or so not working because I was still believing that God would do something, in the area of my field of study. But yeah, nothing came of that. So I ended up then taking up a job in a factory, in a food manufacturing factory where I was doing quality control. By that time, when that job came through, I stopped applying completely for anything that related to accounting. And I didn't have any faith anymore that things will change or that I'll ever be able to do anything with my career, really. So I continued working there. But in January of 2025, there was a post that I saw that had to do with my qualification, of which I told myself that by the weekend, I'll give myself time to give it another try. I mean, when it's January, it's a new year, your faith is high, you're thinking, okay, maybe something will come out of it. But unfortunately, there were storms that weekend where I was supposed to give myself time to apply for that post. So again, my faith was really running low at that time. But for some reason, I prayed to God and I asked them for the grace to tell them that the events were beyond my control and I would like to be given a chance for my application to be accepted, of which that happened as well. And I think it was in February or so when I saw on YouTube, I saw that there will be a Let Hearts Arise, service that was going to be happening on the 15th of March in Birmingham. So by faith, I wrote in as well, and I told myself I'll be there because apart from the stagnation and the disappointment that was happening in my career life, I was also experiencing nightmares, spiritual attacks in the form of a spiritual husband. So I came to the prayer line by the grace of God as the people of God saw me being prayed for. What I was holding there was my qualifications, my recent qualifications, and the form that I had applied for this particular post. It was around April. I was scrolling on Facebook. I see the post being advertised again. And now my faith is like, okay, what is happening? But by the grace of God, I just told myself that, you know what, the prayers that I offered in faith do bring results, and I encourage myself to apply again. So just to give the viewers a background, so the post that I applied for is within the civil service here in Ireland, the Irish Tax Institute. That's where I'd applied for the post. And then now this time around, when it came out again, it was being advertised by the civil service by themselves. And I applied again. By the grace of God, the interview came. It was around June when the interview came. And then by the end of July, by the grace of God, something that had never happened in my career, I got an email to say that I was successful. So because this was a nationwide search, I know that I was candidate number 660. So I do not know the exact number, but it could have been 700 or 800 people that had applied for the post. And my overall position in that, it was number 53. And we had an option as well to choose the county or the city, if I could say, where you want to work from. My first choice, I was number 3. And then the second choice, by the grace of God, I was number 7. So my results were really good. The interview outcome was very successful, of which I truly and give credit to God for all of that. I can't take all the credit and say I was well prepared, I researched. No, it was the grace of God. It was the divine hand of God that was upon my life, because if that was the case, then my previous applications or my efforts in the past concerning my area would have been a success. So once the results came again, it was another time to wait. I waited in faith to hear when my offer will come. Lo and behold, in October, I got my offer that I'll be starting on the 6th of November, 2025, of which yesterday marked 3 months in this new role, which is in my field of study in accounting as a tax auditor and a compliance executive officer in my work. So I'm here to give glory to God and to inspire and encourage someone. And also in the area of the nightmares, since then, I mean, I had even forgotten that's something that I put in my prayer request. I haven't experienced any of that. So far, yesterday was 3 months, and the feedback that I'm getting from my manager is positive. My work is improving. In the application itself, there was the advertised salary, but when I had to sign the contract, the salary had actually increased as well. So just to testify of the goodness of God, you think your career is stuck, you're not earning much. I was working in a factory, not earning much, but my earnings literally grew in a huge difference during that time. So I'm experiencing the joy of being favored by God. When the offer came and I accepted it, number one, that meant that I had to move to a different city. So as most people could be aware, if those that are not aware, Ireland currently is facing a housing crisis. So there are issues with housing and actually finding a place. So I went ahead in faith without knowing where I would stay. My employer did not even know that I didn't have a place to stay for relocation purposes, but I just accepted the role and I trusted that God would do something about it. So I tried to look for places, nothing came of it, and the time was getting close to my starting date. But by the grace of God, I prayed to God really to touch one of my friends' heart to give me a place to crash, to stay while I was waiting on my own place to stay. So in a place where it's so hard to find accommodation, where people really wait for months and some people wait years to get accommodation, I stayed with my friend for only 2 weeks. And then after that, I had my own place to stay. By the grace of God, by the favor of God, honestly, taking into consideration the current challenges that are happening in the nation concerning accommodation and housing. Well, my advice, first of all, is to never, ever, no matter what the circumstances that you're going through, do not give up on God. Take it from me, for someone, imagine graduating in 2016. I mean, that's almost 9 years till 2025. Nothing came of it. I mean, I experienced the pain, the shame, and the depression that comes with having a qualification. There was a time where I didn't want to tell anyone that I'm as educated as I am, or to talk about my qualifications or my aspirations or dreams, because I thought that will never come to anything. I mean, I had tried everything, all the advice that you can get online to make your CV this way, to present yourself at this skill and that, but it never amounted to anything. But I would like to say today, I am a living testimony of the goodness of God. I'm a living testimony that God does not abandon his own. And my reference will come from the story of Joseph. I mean, we see that in the beginning, he had a great sense of greatness within himself. God showed him the visions of his great future, but his natural circumstances were literally standing against him. His own brothers sold him as a slave. And when he was in Potiphar's house, we all know what happened there. He was accused wrongly and thrown into prison. So now imagine someone seeing that great future or having a deep sense of greatness within themselves, but the natural circumstances were just against him. But in the end, we all know that he sat on the throne of leadership. So my encouragement will be to not give up on God, and also meditate on Isaiah 43 verses 19 that talks about God making a way in the wilderness. So I was in the wilderness. There was nothing to write home about my career. And honestly speaking, my faith as well. I was crushed, but here I am today by the grace of God. So there is no formula to life. Do not compare yourself with anyone's timeline. Your time is coming. God, at the right time, God will bless you as well. And you have your own testimony like I am. There's nothing special about me, but the grace of God in my life makes everything beautiful and it's on time.